brilliant weekend of Premier League football, but there really is no other place to start. Mo Salah had a lot to say after the 3-3 draw with Leeds on Saturday. I have done so much for this club down the years, and especially last season. Now I'm sitting on the bench and I don't know why. It seems like the club has thrown me under the bus. That is how I'm feeling. I think it is very clear that someone wanted me to get all of the blame. He went on to say, I said many times before that I had a good relationship with the manager, and all of a sudden we don't have any relationship. I don't know why, but it seems to me, how I see it, that someone doesn't want me in the club. He also said, I said to my family, come to the Brighton game. I don't know if I am going to play or not, but I am going to enjoy it. I will be in Anfield to say goodbye to the fans and go to the Africa Cup. I don't know what is going to happen when I am there. Well, guys, explosive words. Unexpected, do you think, Rachel?
I think you can't think that you can say something like that publicly and there's not going to be some kind of repercussion, a lot more opinions. And whether you think he should be in the team or not, I think when he comes out and says those sorts of things, especially talking about relationship with the manager, then that invariably is going to lead to probably quite a few conversations internally. Having
been on the football pitch many times, and I'm sure having been frustrated during that time, is it right to come out straight after a game and show that frustration, especially with where Liverpool are at the moment?
I mean, we don't know what's happened behind closed doors. I think we've got to say it's a very emotional interview. When I get a look at it, you've got to give context behind it. I feel as though, listen, when you look at him in a Liverpool shirt, he's lost somebody from a personal point of view in Jota. So I think we probably lack empathy in the game to a certain extent. We expect things to just go on. They won the title last year. Should they go on and win it again this year? And we expect them not to skip a beat. But he's missing not only a teammate, but a friend. And then also I look at Trent Alexander-Arnold's exit. The person, the one of two people that he's played the most football with ever in his career. So from a professional point of view, he's kind of lost his right arm. And now he's trying to build up all these new relationships. And unfortunately, football stays still for no man. And you're always judged. And his performances, I think, even as far as he's concerned, have been slightly under par, whether that's tactical or not. He finds himself on the bench, and I think frustrations have just boiled over.
Rachel, is this a case of somebody is 100% right, somebody is 100% wrong? When I say somebody, I mean Arne Slot, Mo Salah. Or is this a case of mixed messages, frustration, things not quite happening for the both?
I mean, it sounds like he doesn't feel respected by the conversations that have happened. For him to say that he now doesn't feel like there's any relationship with the manager, that suggests that he doesn't feel there's been a conversation. Like, you'd expect in these circumstances, if he wasn't going to start, that would be something that would be said, look, I think this is what I'm going to go with. I'm going to play Szoboszlai there. And the reason is because I feel like we're, conceding goals. I want more protection there. I want you to come on and, affect the game when you can. We respect what you can do. We saw what you did last year, all these things. It sounds like that conversation hasn't happened, and we probably have seen a little bit of that from Slot. He seems like the sort of character, he just makes a decision. He's like, I'm the manager, I'm just going to make the decision, and you have to sort of accept that. I think probably the Robertson and Kirk has been what seems like a similar situation. He decides, and players turn up, perform, and you'll be assessed on that.
Let's take a look at some of the numbers behind the decision that's seen Mo Salah on the substitute bench. This is obviously stats down that left-hand side of last season, 24-25, when they won the title, and Salah had an outstanding campaign compared to this season. There's quite a contrast in the stats, Glenn, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. When you get a look, I think a positive one is the touches in the opposition box. It's not down too much, but it's what he's doing with that. His dribble success rate's down. But, it's the areas he's picking the ball up in. This is the problem. His assists are down. I think that kind of relationship with the striker, he's not sure who's playing there. There's different formations. And then we look at these passes received, which is... It's really difficult because Conor Bradley, new into the team. Konate, not the best passer of the ball. It's not what we kind of... one of his strong points, let's say. Gravenberch is down. Szoboszlai is the one that's the most, but obviously a lot of those times he's been behind him. And then the top of last season is the one that has hurt him the most is Trent Alexander-Arnold. And they aren't just passes. Some of those are world-class passes.
Let's have a look at some of those passes. I mean, it's quite obvious that relationship with Trent Alexander-Arnold was huge for Mo Salah. Are we able to see that in the pictures, in the form? Is he really missing that?
Yes, I mean, these are just a couple of clips to show how important Trent was. So we see here, picks the ball up. It's a little 1-2 in midfield. And I'm just going to pause it when he gets it back. Look at Mo Salah's body. He wants to go that way. He's waiting for the pass. He's anticipating the pass because he knows the pass is going to come. And Trent duly obliges, puts it into space, and all of a sudden, he actually doesn't get on the end of it. Nunes gets on the end of it, but he makes that diagonal run, scores a goal. Perfect.
That's belief that the pass is going to come as much as anything.
And then this one, I'm just going to run that back slightly. Because here, Trent's on the ball. He's found himself after a corner in an unusual position. And sometimes, if I can just find the magnifying glass, Mo Salah isn't always ready to run. But sometimes you've got to make him run. It's exactly what Trent does here. And this is a wonderful pass of a ball. And we know what his capabilities are. And all of a sudden, you've got Liverpool in transition.
Yeah, brilliant bit of play. I mean, and when he was getting in there, Rachel, it was inevitably with end product.
Yeah, well, I think if we just pause for a second, in those situations which we see more of, when he's in this wide area, when he faces up a defender, he doesn't. Can we take that just a little bit further back to when he has it? Very often when he's in these positions, they try, when he receives the ball, you know, maybe if he was here, then other players potentially can double up. And it's not such a dangerous position. When you go with the bigger diag that sort of comes all the way over the top into these types of pockets, then for fullbacks, they end up more isolated 1v1, and centre-backs stay central because their job becomes defend the box. And that, for Mo Salah, for me, makes it easier for him, because all he has to think of is, I need to just get half a yard to deliver. And this example is the perfect one of that. And I think probably the difference when you see him getting in these positions, it's easier for him to create assists, it's easier for him to create momentum for himself, and it's easier to gain from the fact that opposition, then double-edged sword, are on the back foot.
Absolutely, I completely agree. But that was last season. This is this season. There's been a lot of talk that Mo Salah isn't being in the same position, isn't making those runs, isn't getting his body language right, isn't prepared to run in behind. But I think we found an awful lot of clips that suggest he has been and has been trying to. This is a ball that goes forward. If that ball is flicked on by Isak, he's potentially in position to go and flick that ball forward. You see that little dart again. Go to run inside just in case Caicedo makes a mistake. He doesn't. Ball goes backwards. And Liverpool now keep possession of the ball. But again, look at that position. Look at the body position. Exactly where you'd want Mo Salah to see the ball. Ball goes back. So just run that into McAllister. Touch. I think that Trent could have actually played that pass there. Had it been on, they don't. It's McAllister on the ball, just as you run it on. This moment now, that Mo Salah, hand in the air, saying, body position. Cucurella's got his eyes on him. So he's not even ready to turn his body and run behind. If that pass, which is a simple pass for someone like McAllister, is played in, we would see the very best of Mo Salah. What actually happens is Liverpool play a lot of short passes. The ball's moved out wide. And Mo Salah is getting the ball in the position now where he's receiving it more often. Not here, where you want him to get the ball, in these positions out wide. And that's becoming frustrating for him, Glenn. It would become frustrating if you're no longer in position to score goals, but it's a recurring theme, Rachel.
It is, and there is so much context to this, and this is more of looking at what we saw, you know, last season we knew he openly came out. He said, I've been told I can spend most of my energy going forward. So, you know, this is him here in these positions. And you can see he's half tracking. He's clearly not tracking Cucurella closely, but he's sort of anticipating, I'm going to rely on the back 4,
but that's
5,
normal
6.
for Mo Salah, isn't it?
Changes.
Yeah, so this is what we used to see, and this is what we're expecting. And he's already thinking, he's having a little look, and he's ready for the moment when we win the ball back. And this is a situation where Liverpool normally thrive on. And we're going to see in a minute, he's going to turn and he's going to want to come into this sort of space here. So as we run it on, you see he spins, he's ready, he anticipates, he does well, he keeps the ball for the team. This is where you're now dealing with a lot of players. You know, we spoke about, yes, there's the Jota situation and the personal tragedy that of course miss him on the pitch, but then when you look at the other front three. You've got Wirtz, who's new, Ekitike, who's come in, not played, Isak, who's new. In this exact example, Wirtz, as we've just seen, goes into the space where Mo Salah thrives. And not only that, it then means by the time we run it on and we see him get the ball, he obviously gives Wirtz a shout and he leaves it in the end. Had Wirtz just allowed Mo Salah to go and get that, you're potentially talking about Wirtz being down the throat, centre forward in the middle of the goal. That becomes a threatening situation.
And also, he wouldn't be there. So it's a one-on-one situation, isn't it?
And instead, and I think last point we haven't made is this here is, of course, young centre-back Chimpong. As a young centre-back against one of the best wingers and most dangerous players in the world, that's a very uncomfortable position. Once again, there's no real threat. Wirtz is still sort of trying to get out the way of Salah. He doesn't have the space you'd expect him to have. And again, this could have been a scenario of we were just bending a ball in here, asking questions. Instead, Mo Salah can't do that because the players aren't in a position to receive it.
No, he can't. So we are seeing themes that Mo Salah is used to. I mean, he ends up passing this one backwards. A couple of cases of the ball not coming in, a couple of cases in people getting in his way, but there's loads of different reasons as well, Glenn.
Yeah, this one I really like because I believe if this is Trent or somebody with that passing ability, and we mentioned before, didn't we, that Mo Salah, you've got to make him run sometimes, as you do all forwards. We can be lazy at times. Then this is the run, isn't it? And with no pressure on the ball, I fully expect to find that space, get him behind, and then all of a sudden you're playing transitional football. You're hitting the box. You're dangerous. Play it. Eventually finds that place once again where he doesn't want to be really, and this is where the frustration's coming from, turns out, and he's just getting crowded out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's easy to say it keeps happening, but just keep your eye on Mo Salah on this one, as that ball is potential. We've seen Van Dijk play that pass many, many times. Again, you're talking about forcing people to go in there. He's kind of saying, I've got my body position. Can we be brave? Can we go inside? That's the kind of pass I'm used to receiving. And again, as happens a lot this season, he finds himself in these positions. Liverpool want to play to feet. Liverpool aren't really risking the ball that much. When it was Trent in the team, he was the player that risked the ball. As it is, everybody else just plays safe football, situations in, and then getting frustrated with Mo Salah that he can't manage to create something.
I think just even to add to that, we talk about the numbers because that's what we scrutinise, and I think Liverpool have nobody in an attacking position. So many players always under the ball that even if he does get a half yard here, there's nothing to deliver into.
Absolutely not. And so, looking at these moments, do you feel that this is Mo Salah not performing the way he could or the way he has been, Glenn? Or do you think this is Liverpool's new style or Liverpool's lack of risking the ball in certain situations that is causing the issue?
Well, this is just another one, and we've highlighted the point so many times now. If this is Canate in the ball, he's not known for his passing ability. If it's someone maybe with slightly better passing ability, then this is another option. But I think this is the tactics. He finds himself further and further out on this right hand side. I suppose when you look at it, they're not looking to get him in behind. For some reason, he does well here. He actually wins a corner in the end. But again, look, no one's really in the box. They've got a couple of players in the box, one on the edge. Where's that transitional Liverpool gone? It's much slower, more passive, taking longer to get there. Therefore, defences are further back. There's less space to run and beyond. So it's a whole concoction of, I suppose, styles.
I agree with that. I think that one kind of makes a case for Mo Salah being right. I think this now, with the chances he still managed to get, would certainly create a case for his manager Arne Slot to be right, because we're still talking about a player of Mo Salah's ability, Rachel, that if he's getting these chances, you expect the majority of these to be goals.
Yeah, and that's the one when the ball does come. That ball we're asking why they're not playing it. They do play it there, doesn't take it. You'd say the keeper does well. This one is a much worse miss, you would say. He's got to hit the target there. Again, I think some of these are harsh.
I think what we're looking at a player that is ultimately low on confidence, and just in these moments where we would have seen a little bit of calmness and composure, he's getting slightly snatchy, and that's through a desperation want to do well, not being in the position as often as he would have liked and what he's used to. I mean, this one he's kind of stumbling into. At the moment, just nothing will go right with him, and and obviously hence the outburst at the weekend. It's difficult for him because the team aren't set up to play for him. I mean, this one, he does almost everything right. It goes a yard past the post. I think the chances that are being created for him are not as good as what he's used to being. But yeah, I mean, slightly underwhelming, but I think a low on confidence, Mo Salah. If he's confident and he's getting plenty of chances, I think a lot of those go in the back of the net.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I see his frustration. I can see why he's upset. I can also see if, he's not tracking back in the manner that he is, why his manager is now not getting the balance at the other end of the pitch. He's not scoring the goals to justify those numbers. And that's why the manager's keeping him out. He did say, didn't he, in his frustration, that he thought he'd have longer. He thinks he's the scapegoat and that he feels that he should still be in the team. For all he's done, 11 games starts this season before he's the player that's left out. Not Van Dijk and Konate. Yes, there are mitigating circumstances with them because they haven't really got any changes to make there. But he feels it's all come on in. Is 11 games enough?
Yes, 11 games is enough, and I think he'll be the first to admit in the calmness of an environment, away from the disappointment of the draw at Leeds, he probably will say my numbers aren't good, but there's context behind that. It's where I'm getting the ball. It's the slow play. It's the passing ability of the team to a certain extent. It's the lack of willingness to put it beyond. As far as Mo Salah's concerned, I don't think you can really defend him because obviously, like I said, no football doesn't stand still for anybody. You're always critiqued, whether you're one of the greatest that has ever been at the football club. And I think it is unlucky because I think it's a very insular perspective. I think everyone's been criticised at the football club. I don't think he's been criticised more than anyone else. And when, like you said, when Konate and Van Dijk are getting criticised, there's no other centre-backs at the football club, unfortunately, whereas this man, there's reinforcements.
Well, he has been criticised. He has been left out of the team. So against Leeds in particular, this was new-look Liverpool. Szoboszlai playing from the right. How did you feel Liverpool looked? Did that balance defensively look better? Talk us through it.
Well, I think without doubt, it looks better defensively. But that isn't really what you want your right midfielder or right wing forward to do, is it? We see it's... Szoboszlai is. I'll pause it when he wins the ball back because he's a really honest player. You can't criticise him for this. This is what you would expect a midfielder playing at right back to do, isn't it? Right midfield to do. That's Szoboszlai winning the ball. But obviously, with that work ethic, that's kind of the space that Mo Salah would take up. And actually, in all honesty, this is quite a good attack by Liverpool. They get good numbers forward. They keep the ball and they try and hurt Leeds. But we'll see a couple more instances where it's a little bit more apparent that there's no one on that right wing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously, with him not being able to do that defensively, is Arne Slot happy with the defensive attitude that he's getting, or defensive balance compared to the lack of output on the right-hand side, as we see? Liverpool in this moment, nobody out there on the right-hand side. There's Szoboszlai. Is he going to be okay with that?
Well, I think if you choose to play him in that position as almost the supposed right winger, then I think what you are sort of saying is that you end up protecting, this is the area that they essentially become solid because almost they have a few more players in that area. He'll naturally come into there and pick up the ball.
Yeah, that's Szoboszlai. That's your right midfielder there.
Which I think is the right thing to do with him if you're choosing to play him in place of Salah because that is where he's most dangerous. He potentially will create you the best opportunities. When you look at the numbers, he's probably been a player, you'd say, work rate-wise, he's done one of the most. Numbers-wise, he's contributed to goals, creating chances. So I can understand you're choosing to play him on the right, but you're still going to ask him to come do a central job. So I think that's what you expect.
But then, so if you're going to play him there, would you expect a Frimpong to play that's going to offer you more width going forward and more of a direct runner with him?
Probably, yes. And I think the fact that both Bradley and Frimpong have been injured have also heightened the fact they've had this issue on the right-hand side, which also has contributed to Salah's numbers, consistency, familiarity. And that's, I think, to your point, there's context to the numbers we show. Last season, Salah was almost like flawless. The number of games he started, Champions League, Cup games, league games.
Well, you could argue the last 6 years.
Yes, you could. And in some ways, there was inevitably going to be a moment those numbers potentially faltered to some degree. And I think to your point as well, I don't feel he's had more criticism. I just think he hears his own criticism maybe more than others.
Yeah, that's fair. So who's going to be the winner I mean, when it comes to this, because, you know, this is...
We'll find out midweek,
another
won't we?
clip for Liverpool's balance. This is where Mo Salah would be. That's the kind of pass, and Ronnie's good to make. That's the kind of moment I think Liverpool have in the past taken advantage.
And that's Szoboszlai.
And that's Szoboszlai. And if you keep your eye on Szoboszlai, there's no, or anybody for Liverpool, there's no run. Look where, I think it's Ekitike at that moment of the game. Look at that. Liverpool end up having to go backwards. They are good at keeping the ball, no doubt about that. But, you know, this is new look Liverpool without Salah. And you see the face that he is showing there. Obviously, the feeling that he's getting, he's made a big statement. He might not play for Liverpool again. Is that going to happen? Can that really happen?
Well, what we've learned with Mo Salah over the years, he doesn't speak very often, but when he speaks, his words land with weight. And yeah, I mean, I think it's rescuable, but it depends if the player and the football club want it to be rescued, or whether there's going to be a mutual agreement that he parts ways and he's not going to play. I mean, it looks like he's not going to play in the Champions League midweek, so the club have without doubt backed the manager. Let's see what AFCON brings.
Yeah, an uncertain future for Mohamed Salah.